Hello, dear Scorpio. I am Jamie Dawn, your evolutionary, revolutionary astrologer, bringing you your March 2021 horoscope. And we have some, of course, movements through the planets. And we'll start with Mercury, as it is now direct. And I know that everybody is celebrating. What a great way to start the month of March. And it is moving now direct through your fourth house. So it was retrograding through that fourth house, probably bringing up issues when it comes to family. Maybe when I say issues, it's not always bad subject matters that have to do with maybe family, your psychological roots, ancestral line. Maybe you were doing some deep internal work about who am I and where do I come from and where is home? Where do I belong? Maybe those are some questions that you were answering. And now that Mercury is direct, you start to find some of those answers, or you just get external confirmation that your home is really where your heart is. And in doing so, that mind where Mercury loves to play either tricks on us when it's retrograde, or now like it brings us these gifts, treats, if you will, trick or treat, right? I know you Scorpios enjoy that phrase, that the treat that Mercury can bring is clarity around where you belong, who you belong to, and who you want to make sure they feel they belong. There's also that sense of home and purpose. The other thing about this fourth house is the private life. And you may have really felt pulled internal with your thoughts, with your ideas. Maybe you felt like you weren't heard and people weren't really appreciating what you were trying to share, or you just couldn't get your thoughts out there. And they were these private thoughts in your head that you were just kind of holding the cards close to your chest. Maybe you felt disconnected from your family or and it's not always family of origin. It could have been, maybe you're feeling disconnected by family of choice. I belong to a very powerful community and I love them so much, and I consider them like family. And so sometimes that can be what we consider to be family. So now we also have Mars moving into Gemini. So we're going to have more chatty Cathy activity. And for you, Mars is a traditional ruler and it's moving into your eighth house. It moves out of Taurus on the 3rd and into Gemini. And so it's going to be activating a lot of communication, conversations about what is it that you really value when it comes to your relationships and your partnerships and how you use your resources. This on a practical level could have you driven to communicate or to sign papers or to find some sort of loan, or of course it's now we've got another month and a half here in the US for tax season. You may be really motivated to communicate with your CPA and get some of that done as well. It's also possible that you will be communicating with loan documents that allow you to have greater resources, that you get to help others and you get to be of benefit, maybe to some more family members, maybe siblings, or maybe there is somebody that you consider to be like you're the mentor, they're the mentee, and this gives you an opportunity to provide them with the resources they need to be successful. The other thing that you may be driven to do is to use your words in order to create strong bonds so that others can feel really at home with you. Now, Mercury and Jupiter, going back to Mercury for a second, is canoodling again. They were canoodling on February 14th, but with Mercury being retrograde, it may have been more internal. And now on the 4th, when they canoodle again, there may be some really good news and outward confirmation of some of the deeper work that you were doing in the month of February. So here in the month of March, you may have the opportunity to connect and to communicate with some others that really allow you to know how valuable you are, that you're not alone, and that you do provide great value to others, that they care very deeply for you and you care for them. The other thing we have is a new moon, like we do every month, and it's in Pisces this month, as the sun is in Pisces right now until the 20th on the spring equinox. I'll get to that in a second. But this new moon in Pisces is on March 12th, and it's going to be in your fifth house of pleasure, of love, of taking a little bit of risk just for the sake of it. It's also where children may come into play. So in this energy of Pisces, we're really blending everything together, and it's going to be trining your sun. So it may be activating this really pleasurable moment for you. You may plant seeds of how you can find great pleasure that provides an opportunity for everybody in the world, because Pisces just absorbs everything and everyone. There's no boundaries because it's Neptunian ruled. And so here you may be planting some seeds that allow you to either start a love affair, or if you're coupled, it may be that you're ready to flirt a little bit more and really develop stronger opportunities for the two of you to get closer in the future. And it may be that, especially for bonded Scorpios, that you may decide to, go gambling, or to plan a trip that allows you just to throw caution to the wind and do whatever allows you to kind of shake off the winter blues. And when summer comes, you're ready to go have some fun. Maybe there's some planning there. The other thing with this new moon is that whether you're single or coupled Scorpios, you may have some faith that there is energy and life being breathed back into the relationship sector for you. And this isn't so much of a bonded relationship type. This is more of the love affair. This is like being in love with life, if you will. A little more pep in your step, a little more spring, as we are here in the Northern Hemisphere, entering springtime on the spring equinox. And so you may be planting some seeds to be able to energize and have great faith in anything and everything that you're doing. With this fifth house, you can apply this in a professional setting as well, that you may, if you run a team or you work with others in a way that you have to interact and you're grudging, through stuff, that this may be an opportunity to make it a little bit more lighthearted, a little more colorful and artful. If you're running into issues or problems, whether we're talking about in love affair or professional life, that you may decide to use a little bit more colorful language that softens the energy and allows people to kind of jump on board. It really inspires them. And that's going to be highlighted even more when Mercury moves into Pisces on March 15th. And so there could be this opportunity to be able to paint this beautiful picture, and you get to charm your way through getting some things done, especially when Venus moves into Aries on the equinox. And so there's this push, this drive here with Venus charming her way, Mercury also painting this beautiful picture of compassion and healing and all the wonderful benefits that your ideas and your desires have, that everybody kind of looks around and says, I'll go with them. Yeah, sure. I'll go wherever they're, kind of leading. We'll call it a manipulation tactic. And sometimes manipulation can be bad, of course. At the same time, I would offer that you use the tool of manipulation second half of March as a way of bringing more teamwork. Because remember, we're still working with Saturn and Jupiter and Aquarius, and we want more teamwork involved, more of this collective beneficial energy. Now, that also, like I said, is going to get energized that much more on the spring equinox, which is when the sun moves into Aries, and it's going to be moving into your sixth house of daily routines, what you do work-wise, what your tasks are, your health regimens, things like that. So you may find a little more reason and push and drive to focus on getting tasks done, but you're also maybe encouraging others to participate as well, because you've got this beautiful self-expression with that Piscean energy in your fifth house, that it's like, hey, you know what? We can do all these things, but let's have some fun doing it. Finding new creative ways to have fun at work or to have fun in your regimens is going to be of great benefit, of course, for you, but it may come a little easier second half of March. Also, if you've got major decisions that you are making, this is an opportunity to make a decision, make adjustments along the way. Of course, try and bring others along. But with the Aries energy, there's a lot of fierce independence that you may be forced to take certain actions without anybody else agreeing with you. And in doing so, you may have to find that between, say, the new moon on the 12th and the full moon in Libra on the 28th, which will be in your 12th house, that you may just have to do some things on your own. And you bring people on board, you share your agendas, your visions, your ideas, and at the end of the day, you may just have to go for it and let the chips fall where they may. I would say that if you are trusting that intuitive nature inside of you, which is very strong, you have a very strong psychic nature, which will be highly active during the month of March, that if you can come back to trusting that, your decisions will most likely work out in your favor. The other thing with this full moon in Libra, that I actually feel as though it could create some irritation within your partnerships, because Libra does love relationships and partnerships, and it likes equality and fairness, that sort of thing. However, with it being in your 12th house, you may find that you need to isolate yourself, or you may feel as though you are standing on an island and your partner, or, and this is personal or professional, but there others in your life may not be able to relate to you. They may not understand everything that you're doing, why you're doing it, no matter how much you try and explain it. So there may be a feeling around this full moon that you're just sort of on your own. Use this time for deeper contemplation, to build greater faith and hope in your own sense of wisdom and your own sense of authority. And I would offer that if you do let go of someone or something during this full moon, that it most likely will have a long-ranging effect. I don't want you to get caught in analysis paralysis. However, I will say that you do want to weigh out your options before making a major decision. And if you're at the height of emotion, it might be a good time, step back, let the dust settle till after the full moon to make that final decision. One other thing about the month of March for you, you will find greater ways to feel devoted, and devoted to your loved ones, that family unit, because your fourth house is active, and loved ones, or devotion to just your kids with that fifth house being activated, or devotion to yourself and having some fun and pleasure there. And then also finding greater ways when you're devoted to something, that's this level of love and commitment that shows up, and your actions are lining up because you are wanting to be of great service. And so that's also another theme that will kind of run like a current behind the scenes for the month of March for you. All right, Scorpio, I hope this helps. Of course, find me at jamiedawn.com, comment, like, share, and subscribe to this channel and these videos. I am so looking forward to hearing how the month of March goes for you. Take care.